What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, the podcast where we talk about movies and comics and everything in between. My name is Darren, aka DJ, and I'm joined by my two siblings, my brother, Derek.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I mean, dude, I don't get no name introduction.
No, I'm just joined by my brother, and then my sister,
Devin.
That's interesting. I was actually thinking of naming a future daughter of mine, Devin. That was a name choice.
Definitely go with it now.
You said definitely go with it now?
Definitely go with it now.
Oh, okay.
That's dope.
Yeah. So, this week, we're going to talk about the very much anticipated Spider-Man Far From Home, which came out this past Tuesday to take advantage of the July 4th holiday. And we'll see what everybody thought about it. It was a pretty good movie, in my opinion. So we'll just go ahead and jump into our review of Spider-Man Far From Home. So, first, what did you think of the story?
I thought it was good. We're doing all non-spoiler, right?
Yeah, non-spoiler. Oh, yeah. So, no spoilers at first. We'll let you know when there are spoilers for the movie. So, we'll start off trying to avoid spoilers.
Right. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good continuation for Peter Parker, both after Homecoming and after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. I thought it was cool. You see how he had grown some, and so I thought it was cool. And also, like, it kind of makes me look forward to a third one. Mm-hmm. Or, maybe they address his story in some other movies like they sometimes tend to do. But I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Derek?
I thought it was a great movie. Honestly, I'm going to go on record to say that it was the best Spider-Man movie out of all the Spider-Man movies that have came out.
That's a hot take.
Like, ever?
Yeah. Ever? I am going to still say that Into the Spider-Verse is better than this.
Wait, can we count that as or are we just going straight up just Spider-Man movie?
I mean, if we talking about Into the Spider-Verse, I would say that's number one. If we're including that.
Okay. And you say this, I mean, that's a hot take, but I would have to sit down and evaluate each one of these movies.
Yeah. Right. And see, I think my problem is it's been so long since I've seen the first three. We know the third one sucked.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of none of the Amazing Spider-Man was like cool.
The first one was okay, yeah.
But then it's like afterwards, it's like I feel like it's not rewatchable to me.
Okay.
I feel like with the Amazing Spider-Man franchise that they had good actors in those two movies. I just felt like a lot of the stories were rushed along. And I don't know what point where they were trying to get to. I don't know if it was because they were trying to come out with a Sinister Six movie, which I don't understand how you do that so quickly.
They're still trying.
But but I feel like it was good acting in those movies. I just felt like the stories to the movies were rushed, and that's what ruined the movies, those two. So,
Far From Home, I'm going to agree with you two. I really did like the story, and I like how, Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movies in the MCU is supposed to be like their teen drama movies, Mm-hmm. It's their high school movies, whatever, that you watch. And it still had that feel. It really did.
Yeah, it did.
And I think it still works. You still feel like that Spider-Man is a kid, and you can tell through his actions. Mm-hmm. And it's not in an annoying way, but they haven't, propped him up or like Derek said, put it like they sped along to try to get to this point in Spider-Man's life, but he's still learning how to be a hero. And I don't know. I like that journey that they have going for this character. I think that's pretty good.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like not only just learning how to be a hero, but also learning how to get through those awkward teen years, Yeah. It's like you have a girl you like, but you don't know how to talk to her, and it's just all of that, which I think is like the whole purpose of Spider-Man as a character anyway.
Yeah.
Is that awkwardness that everyone grows up with, that Spider-Man, the character, embraces, and I think that they captured that well, which I'm not sure if any of the other movies has ever done that before.
That's true. And that's the one thing I have to say that they've done better through any of the other Spider-Man movies is capturing that how it is to be a teen. Well, if you think about it, the first Spider-Man franchise, he graduated from high school in the first 30 minutes. The second one, he was done after the first movie. So the sticking him in high school and staying there kind of does that. And I have to say, when you mentioned the awkward teen, Zendaya and Tom Holland, they captured how to be an awkward teen perfectly. Like, it was just like they were the most awkward, and not like in a cringy way or whatever, but like
they're goofy because they're nerds.
Yeah.
And they know they're nerds.
Yeah.
And they're just goofy and weird in like the best way, adorable way possible.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I feel like the comedy with this one is spot on. Like, there was nothing in there where I felt like it was forced, or like this was planned to be there. Like, it felt natural. Like, the stuff that they were commenting on and joking on, it felt like, oh, okay, yes, this is what my friends laughed about and talked about when I was in high school, even though high school was like 15 years ago for me. But it's like, it still felt that way. And another thing is, even though these actors are not high school age, they feel like they're in high school. Like, okay, with Tobey Maguire, it didn't feel like he was in high school.
It was a 30-year-old man invading a high school.
Well,
Same thing with Andrew Garfield. It's just like, this dude is too old. With Emma Stone, I'm just like, they're not high school. Like, these people's in their mid-20s. Like, no.
I think one of the reasons that might help them with that is that Tom Holland, like, you watch his interviews and stuff, he's kind of a goofy adult.
Yeah.
And
well, but I think he was only 19 when he was first cast. Like, he's 22 now.
Right.
But
so he is younger, and he does have like a baby face. But I also think it's like he's kind of like an awkward, goofy, naive person in real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that kind of plays well into the movies because he doesn't have to act too differently than he acts in real life.
Yeah, it's more natural.
Yeah, it is, which I agree. Although I did get a slight feeling that he's growing out of his like baby face look a bit.
And
he's starting to look older.
I was going to mention that I feel like the next movie, which I guess is 2-3 years from now, should be his freshman year in college because
it should.
He is, like you said, he is not beginning to look like a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like 3 years from now, he'll be 25 years old. You're an official adult. I'm not sure if he could play a senior in high school
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like with all movies that's going to be in between before this third Spider-Man comes out, and Marvel was good at this already. It doesn't have to... we don't have to see him graduate from high school. We don't have to see him get a job at the Daily Bugle or anything like that. Like, he can already be put in that role. We really don't need an explanation because we know who Spider-Man is.
No, they can definitely jump, and I hope they do jump. But and then also because these movies are all connected, he could mention it in another movie. Yeah. So when you get to the third Spider-Man movie, you already know what's happening.
Like, we're having an Avengers movie, and he's saying he doesn't have time for this because he's got graduation.
Yeah.
Something,
or somebody like, why we can't bring Spider-Man along? He'd be great. And they're like, oh, he's graduating this weekend, or his graduation is today.
Yeah, which I can't mention this, but we'll see about the graduation.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in spoilers. So the actors did really well. I don't know. I like how they put it together. It's so hard to talk about this without spoiling anything.
I think we're doing a good job, though.
I think, maybe when we mentioned how they addressed the 5-year gap.
Oh, actually, that was pretty good. I liked that they addressed it. As you guys know, I was so upset about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they addressed it, and he did it in a way that made sense. Now, Spider-Man is mainly a comedy movie, so they did it in a funny way, which I thought that the comedy in that aspect I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so, and I felt like they answered a lot of questions that was on the internet. Like, well, I mean, do they get their apartment back? Do they get their house back? What about people? Are they now seniors or whatever? And I think was that guy named Brian in the movie?
Yeah, was it? I think it is Brian. Yeah, there was one student that he was a kid.
Yeah, and now he's like the handsome senior or whatever. Even though honestly, it's obviously this dude's like 20.
Well, they said that he was 20 something.
Well, he looks young.
But
right.
everything.
Why was he on
But they
this
said
trip?
everything stopped when everybody.
Oh, so he didn't finish school.
He had to finish school when everybody came back.
No, he's their age.
Is he? I was going like,
no,
how
because
old
there were
is Brian
students.
supposed
There
to
were
be?
students that weren't in their class anymore because they graduated already.
So he was like in middle school.
Yeah, he was a kid. Like they showed the picture, he was a kid, and then now he was in their grade, which they had to do again. I thought that was funny.
Right,
Like
'cause
they
they-
made everybody that came back start their
The
like
year
they were like
over.
halfway through.
Yeah.
What,
They were at
11th grade?
midterms and they had to pretty much go back.
And they had
Oh,
to
dude,
go
I
back.
can't wait to get the spoilers because the beginning of the movie, dude.
No, we can mention that because that's just about
Oh, okay.
Endgame. Like they started the movie with like this memorandum for everybody
Dude,
who
how
died.
great
in
was
Endgame.
that,
with
right?
the Whitney
Like
Houston?
the Whitney Houston.
Yeah, it started off playing a Whitney Houston song, and when I first sat, I was like,
Yes, I was.
"What is this?"
And I was like, Marvel, why? Like, are we like? And I like really thought it was like Marvel. Before we start the movie, let's honor our past
Right.
people. Because the Marvel logo is flipping by,
Right,
and
yeah.
Whitney Houston's talking about "I will always
Yes.
love you," and
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
But then when they started playing the slideshow, I knew it. I was like, don't let Peter be the one that did this, but
I thought
it wasn't.
was Peter. Yeah.
And I'm like, because it was done like you remember when you do those PowerPoint
Yes.
presentations in high
Yes.
school.
Yeah.
It was done exactly like that. It's so horrible. But it was
like,
great.
Yeah, we like to thank
and then
for
it
the,
like.
for the montage.
Yeah, so that was the school news station, which was excellent. And I know before the movie came out, people were complaining like, "Oh, so the people that were part of Peter's class just so happened to get snapped out too." And it's like, well, of course, but what I noticed was not everybody. Like when you go back to the first movie and his math team,
Yeah.
not everybody was in there. So some of them obviously didn't get snapped away, and they grew up
Right.
because we didn't have that whole group.
Right. Well, then I feel like even then, people's like, okay, 50%, but that doesn't mean half of your friends disappear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is a random thing. So that means there's a good chance that only one of my friends left, and we all still made it.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm like,
definitely
okay,
possible.
convenient,
And then
yes,
it could
but
be the
obviously-
other way around too. It's just like all the friends vanished except for one person. So it's like
Yeah,
yeah.
it will still, the law average, it will still come out to be the same way. It's either almost all your friends disappeared or almost all your friends didn't.
yeah. So that was great how they addressed
Oh yeah,
the
called it what was it, the blurb?
the blip.
The
The
blip.
blip.
The blip.
I have to say, I am not a fan of them calling it the blip.
So here's the thing. So I had to I had to figure out what they were talking about. So when Thanos snapped and everyone disappeared, that was called the decimation, and it still is. The blip
it's them coming back.
is them coming
Yes.
back, which is so stupid, but whatever. Somebody named it the blip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could have called it the return or whatever. I don't know, but
So yes, I am not a fan, and that was in my notes of things to talk about. Like, do you guys like this word? I do not.
I do like it.
yeah, in the movie it's
I do
called the
like
blip.
it.
I don't. And also, I guess it addresses another thing, which is kind of weird. I'm assuming because it's like they showed like people snapping back in the
Yeah.
gym. Aunt May said that she snapped back in her apartment, but someone else was living there.
Yeah.
And the wife was like none too happy that she was rolling.
Right.
in there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm guessing people who got snapped back into dangerous situations like a boat or a plane, then they somehow control that where they snap back on land.
Well, yeah. So people have been asking about that because they're like, oh, people would just be falling from the air and stuff. And I mean, obviously the writers didn't plan for this, but Kevin Feige mentioned, you know, the person who brought them back was Hulk, and he was called Smart Hulk at the time. So obviously all he had to do was say something like bring everyone back safely.
Right.
So that means if you would be in a dangerous situation, it probably would just bring you back somewhere that was safe.
Right. I agree with that because it seems to me like in Endgame when he's working on it, it's like he was taking so long because one, he said he was trying to bring Natasha back.
Yeah.
So my thing is if he was concentrating on that hard, then he could also have said, hey, when people come back, we're not going to make sure people who was flying over the ocean snap back to the ocean.
Right, because that airplane is not going to be there anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, people, don't get hung up on this because if you want to be real technical, the Earth is not in the same spot it was.
Okay.
So
that is facts.
All right, thank you, nerd. In this conversation, right?
What?
No, nerd. We're not doing this.
So I mean, look, people aren't floating in space. That's all I'm saying. So everyone was brought back safely.
Yes.
To their relative positions.
But no, I think they addressed that well, and I think that answers all questions that were waiting to be answered, right?
It actually does. I think it... I don't know, you know, Marvel's calling it the real end of Phase 3. I don't know if it's so much that, but... Well, I guess if you call it a prologue, I guess it would fit as that, because it's not the end of the story, but it's kind of a, hey, here's what happened after the fact.
Right.
You know.
I think Spider-Man fits as a good bridge to both. It addresses the ending of that phase, and then it also addresses the beginning of the next.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you guys think that he's going to replace Tony Stark? Because I feel like in a lot of the movie, it was just like, you know, Tony Stark is gone now. You're the new guy. And at first, before this movie, I was like, nah. But then watching the movie, I was like, well, maybe he could.
I could see him being in other movies.
In a way,
Yeah.
well... we know one way he's not going to replace Tony Stark, and that's a spoiler, but in a way, just because he's a smart mind.
Right.
But Peter's not a leader. Now, Spider-Man is often in the comics shown as a leader, but right now he's not. He's got to get to that point.
Right, yeah. I mean, maybe not so much as that, but more just as that I don't know, guy you want to see?
Yeah. I was thinking of him.
Oh, you mean like as a movie character?
Yeah, I was thinking more of like he is the how Iron Man was like the bridge to connect a lot of movies together. I was like, I could see him being the bridge of connecting a lot of movies together, because it's just like toward like in Phase 3, like Iron Man was in movies, but like he didn't have like real major roles or was in the movies as much. Like people talk about like, Iron Man was in Spider-Man and Homecoming, but to be honest, he wasn't in Homecoming that much. It's just like he played a good role in the movie into bringing Spider-Man along as a hero, but it was like his character didn't overshadow Spider-Man or the story. But it's like it helped bridge from Spider-Man being in Civil War to now Spider-Man showing in Infinity War. Is just like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. I see why. And it helped with their relationship too.
Right. Now, from like a movie standpoint, like I don't think he could be the leader of the Avengers. Yeah. One, he's too young.
Yeah.
And so like from that aspect of it, I don't see it. But from the aspect of Tony Stark was that recognizable character from the Avengers that the world loved and looked up to. So I feel like Spider-Man could definitely be that person in the movie universe. You know what I mean? Like he could definitely be that like, oh hey, Spider-Man, we love him. You just figure the main people that everyone followed and you know in the movies was like Tony Stark and Captain America. They're both gone now.
Yeah.
So like the world would need another Avenger that they looked up to, and I feel like he could definitely fill that role.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one else is there yet, but everybody recognizes Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
in
that
instance,
it
with
can.
like him being a recognizable character, it's just like, I mean, you could have Black Panther or Captain Marvel being the leader of the Avengers, but it's like they don't have to be that connecting character that everybody, you know, relates to or equates to the movie. Like Spider-Man could still be that character and don't have to be the leader, as you stated.
Yeah. So I do like that idea of him replacing it. They did some really cool stuff with callbacks to Iron Man in this movie. I'll get to it in spoilers. I you know what? If you just told me that they did like a certain thing, I would be like, that's cheesy and stupid. I don't want to see that in a Spider-Man movie. But when I watched this movie, and one scene in particular where they really called all the way back to Iron Man 1, they did it in a couple of scenes, but it's one they called back to Iron Man 1, and I was just like, man, it was kind of perfect. You know, it was pretty awesome. If you guys notice, we're not talking about the villain because major spoilers there. So the villain was good, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Jake Gyllenhaal was great as Mysterio. I thought it was a great villain.
That's the spoiler.
That
That his name is Mysterio.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's
no,
that
because we're talking about Mysterio and the villain at the same time. I mean, most people know this, but some people don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have not have said villain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You just
did we
spoiled the
already?
movie now.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Now the whole thing is all ruined.
No. I feel like he was listed in the casting under villain. Mysterio.
All right. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal did do a good job.
He's a good actor, though.
I don't think there was a better way for you to do Mysterio.
I thought it was done greatly, and
great.
I was a huge fan of Mysterio from the cartoon growing up.
Yeah.
And I felt
He
like
is
they
one,
didn't
He
miss...
is like one of my top Spider-Man villains, and I don't have too many Spider-Man villains.
What do you mean? He's got a huge rose gallery.
He does.
But go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm saying, I felt like, I mean, I only know him from the animated series, but I felt like they didn't miss anything from what I remember of, putting him on screen. A lot of times, I'm sure there was a bunch of changes or whatever, but I felt like they captured enough of it where I thought it was great, fishbowl head and all. I thought it was awesome.
No, I mean, there were, I guess, a ton of changes, but I think it really fit the core of the Mysterio character into what the MCU world is as of today.
Yeah.
It fits. I don't know how else you would do it in that world. Actually, if you do it the regular comic way, it would seem silly and stupid. I think the way they did it, some people are complaining about it, but I think the way they did it was...
What were the complaints? That he didn't have those little squares?
the cubes. What do you call it?
I don't know. The little hologram cubes.
Hollow cubes. Yeah. What was their complaint? It was kind of a spoiler. So
we'll save it for
the
later.
reason why he was bad.
Well, that always changes.
And the scene around how he announced.
I thought that scene was great.
I did too. I think it's half and half. I've seen people like that scene, and some people don't. I'm not going to go over the scene because we'll get to that in spoilers. But obviously Mysterio is the bad guy, and there's a reveal, and it's one of those things. Either you like it or you don't like it, which I enjoyed it. But another thing, man, Marvel with connecting their movies to past movies.
Yes.
You would think they had this Spider-Man movie planned since Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Right.
The way they've connected it.
I don't know if there's a guy they just sit in a corner and call up every movie ever. But whoever's in charge of that, to somehow make you to catch a movie that came out 10 years ago and to connect them all is great and it's fantastic. And I love that they do that.
Yeah, and what it does is it gives the older movies rewatchability. Like now you can...
They always had rewatchability.
Yeah, but now it's even more.
Well, if you're talking about the one scene when I was like, wait, was that guy?
Yeah, it was that guy.
I thought that was great too.
Yeah. So there were some return characters and return small characters, mind you, like characters you would never think would return. And that's the thing. See, this is why you be an extra in a Marvel movie. You never know if your character is just going to be used in some other movie. But yeah, so the way they connect the MCU, I don't know how they do it, but they somehow retroactively make these movies seem like they're really a part of the world. You would think at some point it'll get too convoluted and they can't do it. And I mean, not to say that they've done anything perfectly. You know, there's been some missteps, but still, like, man. And the connections didn't take away from this movie either. It just made sense, you know, in a way.
I want to go on record and say, I think that these movies are already written and planned ahead of time, and they make contingency.
Not that far.
They make contingency plans just in case something changes or something happens, and all it has to do is just be cast and filmed. And I won't.
No, I think they have like storyboards to say, hey, we want to use this character, this character, or we want to use this storyline.
Yeah, like with the whole Infinity Saga, as they're calling it, the plan was that Thanos was going to be the major villain, and obviously he needed the Infinity Stones. It wasn't that he was going to take away half of the universe because he thought the resources were scarce and stuff like that. That was writer-directors going, how do we put this together? I feel like Marvel has a skeleton, and it's kind of like, hey, we need it to fit somewhere around here. And then they let the directors and writers put it into that, into that medium.
That's what I was meaning to say. Like, I'm not saying like a whole script is done or whatever, but I feel like they have like bullet points or an outline, and it's saying like, okay, this is the villain, this is the story that we want to bring out, or it's just like, okay, this is Spider-Man, this is what we want to bring into Spider-Man that will help our cinematic universe. And then you got the directors and the writers to come in and say like, okay, since this is the point where you want to get to or you want to bring out, why don't we do this and bring in this and then this? And then it's like, oh, okay. You know, they put the whole body together. Like you said, like there's a skeleton and like there's points at each point. And then like you have the directors and the writers come together and like, okay, this is what we can fill in here.
Yeah, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say that one of the endings, your post-credit endings, one of them, I'm going to say Marvel didn't plan for. One, Marvel obviously planned for. The other one, I'm going to say Marvel did not plan that, and they just okayed it. They're like, okay, yeah, go that route. But I'm not going to say, I don't think Marvel's like, hey, do this at this point. That was obviously a choice by the writers and the directors to do.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because it definitely sets up movie number 3.
Yeah.
Although I'm like, y'all better like deliver though.
Yeah, you really got to deliver on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what route will you go with that? Like,
I'm hoping they have a story in mind.
Well, the director has to. He said on record that he painted himself into a corner.
Well, see, and that's my problem with this. Is he the same guy from the first one?
Yeah.
So he mentioned, because before, they never mentioned Peter's uncle. And he was saying, well, and I read his article, he was saying that since they weren't doing an origin story, he never even considered what happened to Uncle Ben.
Well, see, I think that was part of what a problem people had with Homecoming, because they were saying it didn't really feel like Spider-Man because you didn't have a real reason for what he was doing. Now, this one is a bit different because Tony Stark is now his Uncle Ben, pretty much. Well,
but my thing is, I get that you're not doing an origin story, but I feel like your job as a storyteller is to still realize that there's a kid who lost his uncle. We didn't need to retell the story. We all know the story.
Yeah.
But I still feel like you as a director say, well, I never even considered it. Like,
but I think
I
think with the second one, it brought it home.
Yeah. It should still be a part of that character because that defines what he does.
Yeah.
So it should still be a part of that, which now we're getting that through Tony Stark, which I'm fine.
And Uncle Ben is a thing, because if you notice on his suitcase, it had Ben's initials.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh, hey, thank you guys. But I still think it's like weird. Like, I feel like I was fine with what Homecoming was. You didn't even have to mention Uncle Ben, but for the director to be like, I'd never even considered it.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. It's like when people ask Disney, where's Andy's father in Toy Story? Disney has an answer for that.
Right.
Like, how did you not even have an answer of what happened to Uncle Ben?
Yeah. I mean, that's like
Hey.
having Batman, and you don't have to go into the walking down the dark alley, them getting robbed and getting shot. You don't have to go all through and show that scene. But at some point in the movie, you have to be like, the reason why I'm doing this. It's because of the danger of the city that has killed my parents. It's just like, okay, boom, we got it. Like, but you just cannot ignore the fact. Like, everybody knows this is why
as long as
he's
it's
Batman.
not written like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, and I'm like, I said all that because it's like, he's like, I painted myself in a corner, so I'm like, you did this, but you don't have an idea where you're going.
That
he'll get
makes
to
it
it.
scary. That does make it scary because it's
I
like
think
when
I think they'll
when you
get to
get
it.
into that point, that's how you get into a movie that's thrown together.
I don't think it's going to
Marvel.
be that.
Well, I mean, I know, they would go in and fix whatever he
They're going to
has,
spend time.
but
They're spending time
Yeah.
on this.
Well, they
but
have
it's
to.
like I seem like there's a lot of times with a lot of trilogy movies outside of the MCU. It's like a whole bunch of stuff wasn't addressed in the first two movies, and it's like the third movie they want to address all the stuff that they missed, and it's just like a whole bunch of stuff thrown together, aka X-Men 3.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't see that happening with this, but let's go ahead and we'll get into spoilers. First, let's rate the movie. So we'll start with Devin. What did you think?
I will give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. And
I'm
Derek?
giving it a 9.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay, then.
that's high.
Everyone's going to be surprised because I'm giving this a 7.5 out of 10.
Wow!
Okay.
So I rate it the lowest. out
Well,
of us.
I give it. I feel like I like it just as much as I like Homecoming. Mm-hmm. I thought Homecoming was cool, and I feel like my thing with this movie is that I thought it started off kind of slow, but really picked up in the second half.
It did start
It did.
off slow.
And I think it was slow for me because I already knew what was coming.
That is an issue. So I want to meet someone who doesn't know the story, and that was actually surprised by the reveal. I don't think they could have done it any other way. You have to approach it as if the audience doesn't know this guy's
No,
villain.
I mean, they did it fine, but it's like when you know the ending, it's like watching Pompeii.
Yeah.
Everyone dies.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you didn't know that, seriously, history. So I felt like for me, I mean, I could see your 7.5. I felt like it was kind of slow to pick up because I was just waiting for this to happen.
Yeah. But to me, once that reveal happened,
Yeah, it definitely picked up and it
beautiful.
became.
But even in the beginning part, it wasn't a bad movie.
No.
I enjoyed it. Like I was saying, it was a teen movie, which I think they hit well. And we'll get to those. So that's our rating. I guess as an average, we're saying 8 out of
Yes,
10.
as an average.
So
the
definitely
3D rival
go see this movie.
rating 8 out of 10.
Yep. So definitely you can go see this movie. It's pretty good. So spoilers. Let's get into it. What do we want to start with?
Let's do like what we normally
I want to start with something
like,
small. Let's talk about Ned and Betty.
Okay, so
Because
is Betty a real character?
Yes.
yeah, Betty Brant.
Yep.
She was played by Elizabeth Banks in the first trilogy as the secretary to J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, is that who she is in the comics?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So she is a real character, yeah.
Elizabeth Banks was in the first, man. I gotta
Yeah.
watch these movies again. Only the third one is on like the streaming services, and I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, nobody does. Yeah, so Ned and Betty. First of all, I watched this one lady and she's like mad at Ned saying he's a horrible friend. But I was like, no, this is how high school guy
That's high
friendships
school.
work.
Look, you ride or die until you find yourself somebody.
Yeah.
Then it's like I holler at you at the end of the
Right.
summer, and I feel like that relationship is like high school for real. It's like you're cool during the school year, summer hit, you
Yeah.
can go, or we used to call it expiration dating, and
Expiration dating.
it was like, or you date during the summer and then school year start. Okay, bye.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was their relationship, and I thought it was
That
cool.
was pretty much it. I just thought the way it was played was pretty funny. First of
Yeah.
all, Ned's like, we're bachelors, we're going to Europe. And then he had this line like, European women love Americans.
Right.
And I thought it was just funny that they gave this to Tom Holland, and he's just like, really? Do Europeans love Americans? And I was like, I don't know if I should take offense to that, Tom Holland. But that was funny because he kind of just abandoned Peter for his new relationship.
Yeah.
And I like how they were acting all adults. And stuff.
Yeah, I like that too.
It was pretty funny. And then,
and then in the comic books,
I'm going to
they
focus on the
actually
first
do
part of the
get
movie for
married.
a sec.
Ned and Betty.
Who does?
Oh yeah, Ned and
Ned's
Betty.
a real
Yes.
person?
He is
Yes,
a real
he's
person.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, he's the third Hobgoblin. You know, there's a lot of guys that ended up being a Hobgoblin.
Oh, so
But this Ned Leeds, I'm pretty sure, is not going to be Hobgoblin. His character seems to be based on the Asian character that was in Miles Morales' comic, the Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
was he in the movie?
He was in the movie. He didn't have any lines.
Okay.
He was the kid that walked in the room and they were all on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what his this
Okay.
Ned character is loosely based off of. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad if Ned became Hobgoblin, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Imagine what that does to
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
But
do we need
but
that
since
again?
we are talking about spoilers
What do you
now,
mean again? We didn't have that again.
Harry Osborn became Green Goblin twice.
yeah,
Oh, so you saying we don't need another
Right, we
goblin?
don't.
We
Or
don't need another friend becoming
yeah,
a goblin.
yeah, we don't.
Oh.
Since we are
Okay.
at the spoiler part, Kevin Feige did say that the third Spider-Man, it would be their senior year in high school, and
So that means that got to come out soon.
Got to.
Because this was after junior
Yeah.
year.
yeah, so it's got to come out
Right.
soon.
He was
So
a
2 years.
sophomore
Yeah.
in.
And they say that it will be a villain that they haven't used
first
in
movie.
any of the Spider-Man movies.
Well, they seem to be trying to do that.
Yeah, which is fine. He has plenty of villains.
Use Scorpion.
That's the first
You
person I
could
thought
use
of.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
Since he was
But-
introduced in the first movie in the jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was introduced on the ferry, actually.
Correct.
What?
He has a scorpion tattoo
Yeah.
on his neck.
Okay, obviously.
He was
I
trying to
don't know much about
hold the
Spider-Man.
ferry together. And Iron Man came
Huh?
and helped him.
Yeah, when he was one of the bad guys in that scene. So when he looked through his mask and it was bringing up the characters, his face came up and had his name, and I think it was Guardian.
Yeah, because that's his real name in the comic book.
So could use Scorpion since we already have him, or someone else that Tony Stark created since he makes all the
Apparently.
villains in this universe.
Yes.
So let's talk about that for a second. Well, you know what? No, let's get to it later. I will still talk about the first half of this
Okay.
movie since that's
Yeah,
the
Act
part.
1.
I did mention earlier the relationship between Zendaya and Tom Holland and how that worked. I really do think that worked well, and I do like how when she found out he was Spider-Man, they didn't dwell on that or anything. It was just like, oh, I'm not Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. Then this revelation about the hologram comes out, and he's like, okay, I'm Spider-Man. And we just leave it at that. Like,
Right.
no chasing around with her, like, I'm going to really figure
Right.
out.
I do think I like her because what I don't like about so many female characters is that they're like so dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she was just like, "You're Spider-Man." He's like, "No, I'm not." She's like,
You're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
are.
Yeah.
Right, and so I do like because she's always just so deadpan and like I just don't
Yeah.
care,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that just makes me like her character 10
I
times
do
more.
love the spin for MJ. Because her name,
Well,
cause her
she's
name
not
is
MJ.
Michelle, right?
Michelle Jones.
Yes,
Yeah,
Michelle
so
Jones.
she is replacing Mary Jane, but she is not Mary Jane.
She is not
Right.
Mary Jane. Yes.
So it's kind of a weird thing. A lot of people are like, oh, well, she's Mary Jane. Technically, she isn't because that's not even her
Right.
name, but she is obviously a stand-in for that character
Right.
in this universe.
which is cool because y'all gonna hate me. I do not like Mary Jane.
I don't
I
either.
don't hate you for that. Mary Jane's not that great. I
No,
don't really
she-
like
Dude,
she's
Mary
I'm
Jane.
the same with
annoying
Lois
and-
Lane and with Superman. Oh, I don't like him.
Well, it depends on which Lois Lane you get.
Yeah.
Do you get the cool, smart reporter, or do you get the one who always needs saving and can't
Yeah.
fight her way out of a paper bag?
Yeah, and that's the thing I feel about this MJ is that she's a character where you can write her where she doesn't always need saving. She's obviously smart and she doesn't have to be the damsel.
Oh,
in
and I
distress.
love that she doesn't like to be web swinged with.
Well, it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense because that would be terrifying.
That is terrifying. Like, what if she slips? Like,
He dropped her at the end.
he did drop her.
And she was like, "Let's never do this again."
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would not like that.
So that was, I mean, it's like, no. So, the start of the movie is obviously Mysterio is seen as a hero.
Yes.
There's something I say gives it away right away. Like, but again, if you saw this, then you already knew he was going to be the villain anyway.
Yes. And my
But
thing
the
was,
whole
what I enjoyed about it was, I knew that, it was going to be revealed that he was going to be the villain at some point. My thing was, they were very good in hiding on how. And also, like, mentioning the different dimensions and stuff like that. That's what everybody is speculating. Like, oh, snap, we about to have a multiverse.
Yeah, so we knew that the dimensions were fake because he said your Earth is Earth 616. You can tell that that's a lie because 616 is the comic book universe, not the movie universe. They came out a long time ago and said the movie universe was Earth 199999. Stupid, but so at that point, and which is, I don't get why all the YouTube people were speculating this because I'm like, you guys are the one that pointed this out like way back in the past, but they're like, oh, so this is Earth 616, and it's not because it does not line up exactly with the comic books, so it's not Earth 616. That is the main Marvel universe. So if you saw that, you could tell that was fake.
I did not think that far into it, but I don't pay attention.
I know nothing about universe numbers.
I didn't pay attention.
I just knew Mysterio's a villain. He's one of those people who's like the master of illusions or whatever. Like, you knew he was playing a game because that's what he does.
Yeah.
So I didn't know multiverse or dimensions or whatever universe they're supposed to be in. I just feel like Mysterio's the bad guy.
Well, people knew he was the bad guy, but they were still speculating whether he was still from another Earth. And I was saying that was obviously fake based on the stuff he was
I just
saying.
felt like that's made up.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds so made up.
It does sound made up, which he mentions
Yeah.
in his reveal, which we get to. But I did think the way they did Mysterio, because if you're watching this movie, you don't know he's the villain. He does seem like a good guy, and it I guess, in a convincing way.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask, you saw this with your wife, right?
Yeah.
Did she know who he was beforehand?
I think she knew he was a bad guy, maybe because I mentioned it.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering if it was obvious to her, but if she's the only person I would know that wouldn't know.
Yeah. I'll have to ask her. I don't think we really talked about that part. I don't know if she was really that surprised by it.
Right, okay.
But I think she was still surprised during the reveal. Because, I mean, even I was kind of surprised. I mean...
You know what gave it away for me?
What?
The glasses. When they're sitting in the bar and Peter takes out the glasses, and I was like, that's what he wanted the entire time.
Yeah, I was thinking, how did the glasses get on the floor? Because Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio's like, the glasses were just sitting on the floor. And I'm like, yeah. He didn't just put them on the floor, So I feel like that lady actually stole them from Peter and picked them up so that they could steer the conversation to the glasses. That was obviously planned.
Yeah.
And that's a good point that you brought up. Like,
yeah. I was like, that's what he wanted this entire time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the reveal was shortly after that he, as always, is a disgruntled employee for Stark Industries.
Yeah.
Because that is what they do. Yeah.
So another villain created by Tony Stark. So the barf technology.
He was like, barf?
So the technology behind it, obviously, Tony Stark upgraded and used it so you can go into someone's memories and kind of project it. Mm-hmm. But the technology behind it was created by Quentin Beck. And he was mad that Tony Stark called it barf and it mistreated them and stuff. And now that he was gone, they're even more upset that he's giving this technology to a 16-year-old kid instead of anyone else.
Right. Can we jump backwards since we mentioned Barf? Edith. Even dead, I'm the hero.
Even dead, I'm the hero. Okay, so yeah, so the glasses Edith. And it always stands for an acronym. Yeah. And so Tony Stark gives Peter the glasses, which controls like this Stark satellite and gives Peter information. And the AI in there is called Edith. Even dead, I'm the hero. Which, in a way, by the end of this movie, can stand for Mysterio instead of Tony Stark. When you get to that post-credit scene, when you really think about it. Yeah. And now, even dead, Mysterio's the hero.
Mysterio did say, I mean, before he died, he's like, he always has a backup plan.
Yeah.
And apparently because I was wondering what that guy was doing. But we go back to the bar scene. The group of people helping him was all the people who were just angry at Tony Stark.
Yeah, everyone angry at Tony Stark. So they just all got together to be bad guys. Yeah. So I'm like, man, Tony Stark, you're really not a good person. Why does everyone become villains because of you? Yeah. So, but I just thought it was so cool because you went all the way back to Iron Man 1. Got the guy that was yelled at. You know, everyone knows the scene. It was like, Tony Stark built this in a cave. Right. Yeah, that scientist guy. Yeah. He was there. Yeah. It was perfect. And then I wish they had pulled some other people out, but they didn't. I guess what some people have a problem with is the exposition in the scene. And he kind of did just explain everything.
Well, you had to explain it for the people who didn't. I didn't have a problem with it. What was wrong with the explanation?
Nothing. I mean, it was just heavy. Exposition heavy.
Was it heavy? I was angry because of this. Bob is angry. Susan is angry. We're all angry. I was cool.
No, it was kind of like, and you did this, and you did this, and you did, like, explaining how their whole plan came together like a Scooby-Doo.
I didn't mind it at all. I mean, although it is very Scooby-Doo-ish, though. Yeah. Holograms and drones.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that's a perfect idea. The way they have the holograms work, better than like in a cartoon, like we mentioned earlier, hollow cubes.
I guess that's
makes no sense.
Well, you know? Also cartoon.
Yeah. So this, even though it's still not possible, it makes a little bit more sense. Like there's a bunch of drones. They create the hologram and cause the destruction to make it seem realistic to the people around them. Yeah. Which I thought was perfect. You know. That worked out well. Yeah. Yeah. So Mysterio, that scene in the middle where like Peter Parker is picked up by what he thinks is Nick Fury. Yeah. And then like it goes into like this whole Mysterio scene, which like with Spider-Man in the holograms. Like, that was the best scene in the entire movie.
I thought that was great because he's like, you know, who am I punching? And then, like, he punches a column. Yeah. Or, you know, he walks into something. And so I thought it was great because it's like, you can see just how confused and, like, overwhelmed he is by all of this that's going on. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this dude Mysterio's a beast.
I'm sitting there thinking during that scene, I'm like, how is he going to beat him? Yeah. Like, he dove off the Eiffel Tower to save Mary Jane into the floor. Oh, like, yeah. You know, and like you say, he punched a column or fell out of the building because like he doesn't know where he is and he can't tell. And then even the twist where he's like, oh, you know, Nick Fury stopped it all because he wanted to know who else knew.
Right. That was crazy. And you called her Mary Jane. Not her name.
Did you call her Mary Jane?
You called her Mary Jane.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. MJ.
Yes. We just had a whole conversation on this.
We did, like 2 seconds ago. My bad, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought it was great. And you're right, like how he gets him to reveal who else he told, because he's thinking it's Nick Fury, and it wasn't. Although, can we talk about, I know you're going to like go on a tangent about this. How strong is Spider-Man?
Oh. That's up in the air, because he did... Look, I think he may be, Spider-Man, even in the comics, may be able to survive being hit by a train. But yeah, I think he needs a little bit more than some scrapes and bruises, some broken bones or something. Right. Like, yeah. You know.
Right.
He got hit by a train.
Yeah.
He got hit by a train, which, by the way, did not see that coming.
No.
And not as no, not at all. I was like, oh, just oh. Yeah. So I mean, Spider-Man's pretty strong. I just don't know that.
I mean, that gotta be some broken ribs or a leg at least, right?
Yeah. No, he seemed all right afterwards.
Right. I guess just a mild concussion.
Right. Yeah, that was the only thing. But hey, we don't know how strong this Spider-Man is. I guess he should have been more hurt.
He should have been more hurt because he didn't see it coming. And that's isn't that after he fell onto the ground, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you got beat up and then you got hit by a train.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's a point.
Yeah, there's no way he survived that.
Let's talk about Nick Fury for a bit. And I know this is going to cause us to skip to one of the post-credit scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Huh?
You got to save that, I think.
Okay, fine.
You have to save it. We could talk about Iron Man.
Oh, you know what? I think they did that well. The whole Iron Man...
Yeah.
With his presence being felt throughout the movie.
His picture was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, literally everywhere. And I think it was, like, afterwards when, Peter gets his butt kicked and Happy comes and save him. And he's just like, he can't live up to it. He like, this is not what I really want. I thought that was done greatly. Happy is like, be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he had a good line. He said, you're never going to be Iron Man.
Yeah.
But that's not the point,
Yeah.
Which was good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, like you can be a hero without being Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I thought that
Most
was
definitely.
Nice.
They also had a great power, great responsibility line-ish.
Oh, yeah.
When he got the glasses from Nick Fury, he said, "Weary lies the head that wears the crown." Mm-hmm. Now, you're like, what is that? But if you have the responsibility of the crown, obviously, then, or if you have the power from the crown, then you're weary because of the responsibility you now have.
The responsibility that comes with it, yes.
So they said it in a roundabout way.
Yes. Which I'm sure, just like Avengers Assemble, it will show up in a movie.
Eventually, yeah.
Yes. But I mean, yeah, we didn't need it, but yeah, no, I thought it was done well, and I thought like at that point, after everything went down, you could feel like the weight of what Tony Stark's death did to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because not only was his mentor, and then everybody, like they had a scene at the beginning of the movie where all the reporters ask him all these questions about the Avengers and Tony Stark and this, and you can feel, first of all, he's a 16-year-old kid, right?
It's a lot of pressure.
And you can feel the pressure on them, and that was done very well. Mm-hmm. And which is, it kind of leads to him wanting to go on this vacation and not deal with it, because, I mean, what, a teenager, right?
Yeah. I
don't want to deal with this. Let's do it later. So it made sense. I thought that was good. In that scene with Happy that you were talking about, this is what I was talking about earlier with that callback to Iron Man 1. So there was two things. One, he has to make a new suit because all of his suits are gone. So he has to make a new one. And he does the little hologram thing with putting on the little gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And it was in the trailers. Everyone saw it. But it's like, you kind of felt it sitting there. You're like, oh, man, it's just like Iron Man,
Yeah, I thought it was cool. And I was like, oh, yeah, Iron Man did that. But it didn't feel cheesy or annoying.
Yeah.
So I felt that it was kind of cool.
And then they played the song, which was, this is what I was saying. Like, if you would have told me that outright, I'd be like, no, don't put that theme song in
right.
this.
But it was cool. It was perfect.
Yeah, so they played the Black Sabbath, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to say. Black Sabbath?
What's it called?
That I do not know.
I feel like I knew the title until we started talking about it.
Yeah, I forget the title of the song. Everybody's going to be angry. I'm sorry. But from the first Iron Man, it was played in the trailers, it was played in the movie, and they played it when he was building his Spider-Man suit. And it fit. Mm-hmm. Peter got the band wrong, whatever. But it kind of just nostalgia, and it didn't feel out of place. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was done really well. And then the last scene, the third act, done really well. His classmate, I like how his classmates needed to be saved, but it wasn't an immediate thing like Spider-Man rushing to go save them and he couldn't get to them.
Right, like he didn't stop fighting Mysterio to go run and save them. It was just like, I just, you know what I mean? Usually it'd be like, oh no, Lois is in danger. Let me stop fighting Doomsday to go save her.
They did that twice in this movie, actually. Yeah. The first time...
when they were on the Ferris wheel.
Two of his, Ned and Betty were on the Ferris wheel, and Spider-Man found out, which he made the right decision. The best thing is to try to stop this monster, because if he diverts his attention to them, then they're probably in more danger. So, he had to stop Quentin Beck in the third act.
Right. Which brings up, and we didn't talk about this, is his spider senses wasn't working.
Yeah.
Because I guess he was like so stressed out or whatever, which it really comes in handy because I did not see that coming at the end when he finally beats him.
Yeah.
Dude was like in a cut with a gun, just like, okay, I'm going to end this.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That was so good. I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah.
I thought that was real. I was tricked.
Yeah.
I thought it was real, and it was a hologram Mysterio dying on the ground.
Yeah.
And he was in the shadows about to shoot Spider-Man, and obviously his spider sense, he just stops him. Yeah. Good use of the spider sense, because everyone's complaining about how the spider sense wasn't used and blah, blah, blah. So this movie definitely made use of it, and it worked.
Yeah, it was addressed throughout the movie that how it wasn't working.
Right, he has no control over it.
Yeah.
There's some theories about that it might have been because he's probably was a bit afraid of it because of when he got snapped away. Because you got to think, the reason why his death was the only one that lasted super long, and it is
I
because...
just watched something, they were like, yeah, no, that's not a thing.
What? That
because of his spidey sense that his death lasted longer. They said no.
Well, not that it lasted longer, but he was warned about it. Nobody, you don't think he wasn't?
No, literally, Tom Holland said that's not a thing.
What does Tom Holland know? He's not a writer.
He's the one who acted it.
Whatever. I like the fact that his spider sense would have told him that he was dying.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, officially, that's not a thing.
Fine. Whatever. Well, there goes those theories.
Out the window.
Trampling all over my parade.
I said she just threw it and slammed it out the window.
Oh, no.
Right. I just see it as that when he finally gets back, it's like he's finally confident in himself as a superhero, as a person.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Kicked in at the right moment, because otherwise he'd be dead, or unless he can
for
magically
him
survive.
I mean, that helped him because it was just like, all right, you don't have to live up to Iron Man. You just have to live to your potential. You determine how good you are.
Yeah. So that was really good. That was really good. That last scene. And using the spider sense.
Can we mention the homage to other Spider-Man villains with the elementals instead of them actually being villains?
Well, actually, side note, Hydro Man is actually in the universe because they mentioned him. They were when the water monster came up, Ned did like an internet search and said, oh, this guy was caught in an accident. Maybe it's him. It obviously wasn't him because it was a hologram. But that means Hydro Man does exist.
Yeah, I don't think that was a homage at all. I think they really were just the elements. You know how they used to say the 4 elements: earth, fire, water, and wind.
Yeah. Well, they said that they were
the 4
modeled after his villains, though. Like, they did come out and say that.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't have to be
Easter egg.
It doesn't have to be like they're villains. And I mean, with them making mention of Hydro Man, I mean, he could be used in the next Spider-Man, or that could have just been a nice Easter egg.
Did y'all see the Captain America call out when he was on the bridge and he picked up the sign and had that thing that looked like a hammer?
Yeah.
So I was like, that was pretty funny. The action in this movie is pretty good, and I really liked the third act. It was really creative, and it was really good. Like, it was really good. Do you think Mysterio's dead?
No.
I don't think he is either.
Nope.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I don't know. So many fake outs. I don't think he's dead.
Yeah. And I know they usually don't reuse people, but I felt like if they were to reuse someone, they use him, because I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal is so well liked. I feel like Mysterio was so well liked in the movie that if they wanted to be like, oh, throw him in a scene or so in another movie, by all means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. I guess that was about it. Yeah. So, post-credit scenes.
First one?
Let's talk about the first one first. So, we already mentioned Mary Jane doesn't like being swung around with. Fair enough.
Yes.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was pretty awesome that they brought him back.
J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I'm like, yes, because there is no other J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And this is the first
so
time
perfect.
that they said that they have used another actor from another Marvel movie outside of the MCU to reprise the exact same character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no other J. Jonah Jameson. You can't do it.
That's
True. I think J.K. Simmons, he did it so well that it was just like, I was like, oh, cool. And like now, the Daily Bugle is a internet paper instead of a real paper
Yeah.
because who reads the paper?
No one.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about repercussions for the end of this movie. So, Mysterio put out a video making it look like he was making it look like the elementals were real and he stopped them, but all of a sudden Spider-Man was in control of drones and he killed him. Whatever. So not only that, he outed Peter Parker as Spider-Man.
Right.
So this is huge. Now, people are thinking like, oh, is he going to be running from the government? I don't think so, because the governments as a whole, because S.H.I.E.L.D. was involved, would know that they weren't real monsters.
Right. This is not about to be a Batman sort of thing, but I think it definitely upends Peter's life. Mm-hmm. The life he probably felt like he just got.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, everyone knows he's Spider-Man.
Not only that, now this starts the Spider-Man hate, because that's one thing you were missing. Like, people aren't supposed to like Spider-Man. So once it's out in the news,
right. Now
whether we know it's true or not, people are going to believe one side or the
now
other.
He's a bad guy. He's a murderer, And then he's like, is this guy who kills people a member of the Avengers?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. So that can set up some real...
Yeah. So it can set up a lot of things. I don't know where they're going to go with this, but it definitely was like, oh, well, now I got to go see the next one. Yeah. So it definitely set up the future pretty well.
How is he going to go to school?
Yeah. Especially with the third one, he's Spider-Man. Especially with the third one is supposed to be their senior year.
Yeah, and people know he's Spider-Man. That's going to be interesting. I don't understand how he would go to school unless they're going to, try and play it off like, oh, he's...
Right. Yeah, unless they come like, oh, he was lying, but how can you? Because you remember, Mysterio has always set himself up throughout the movie to be the hero.
Yeah.
That was his whole point, right? He was going to be the hero. Everyone was going to look up to him.
Yeah.
And now he's still that hero.
Yeah. And so that's why I said now that acronym for the AI, even in death, I'm the hero. It stands for Mysterio.
Yeah.
Because basically that's how we set it up.
Yeah.
Even though I'm dead, I'm still the hero. It was crazy. Like, I did not expect that at all.
No,
like,
I didn't.
That threw me off.
Yeah. I think that was a very perfect spin on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that about it for the first post credit, the mid credit scenes? I guess you say. All right. The end. So throughout this movie, I was like, Nick Fury is acting weird.
What is wrong with Nick Fury?
And I'm like, how did you fall for this? Why are you being tricked for this? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't seem like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yes, but here's my thing with this. I don't like. Do you think that was done purposely, or are we reading too much into it? Because I was thinking, like, Nick Fury, the world's most paranoid person.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you believe this? Even if you believed it initially, I still don't know how you continue to fall for this.
Yeah.
So that was my thought, but I don't know.
I think it was done purposely.
Okay.
I really do. Because one thing, the last scene when he's talking to Happy, and he looks at him and then he does this double take, and it was just so silly. Too silly for Nick Fury. Like, I know Marvel movies like to be silly, but Nick Fury's character is not one to do any of the silly stuff because it's Nick Fury.
Right.
He's serious.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what stood out with me with the movie. My first thought was, well, okay, this is a Spider-Man movie, so everybody is a little lighthearted because this is a Spider-Man
That's what
movie.
I was thinking at first.
That's
too.
what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the same thing at first, that it was because it was a Spider-Man movie. But turns out, in credit scene, they were Skrull. Him and Maria Hill were Skrulls.
Talos and his
Yes.
wife.
Which I was like, that surprised me. Like, way out of left field. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't think of all the rumors we got, yet no one guessed that.
No.
No one. I don't know. If someone guessed that, congratulations. Marvel needs to hire you. Because I was like, oh, I'm like, they're Skrulls. And then finally Nick Fury's in space, and then he's been working with the Skrulls for however long, I guess since 1990.
Well, I don't think he was in space that long. Obviously.
Well, I know, but I mean, he's in space now. He's working with the Skrulls. And I think one of the questions out there, Captain Marvel was like, so what are the Skrulls doing? They're working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep, they're working for S.H.I.E.L.D. Or S.W.O.R.D. Some people are speculating this is going to be S.W.O.R.D. Because
okay.
S.W.O.R.D. is in space.
Is that the lady with the green? That's the lady with the green hair.
With the green hair, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What's her name? I forget her name.
Lady with the green hair.
Yeah, but she's half alien, half mutant.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
You told me these things. That means
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
yeah, but she's a big part of Captain Marvel, I believe. So
well,
she's probably going to show up in like a Captain Marvel movie or something.
that will fit perfectly then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this creates a really interesting precedent for the future of the Marvel Universe. Now, obviously, people have been speculating if they're going to do Secret Invasion, and I think they are. Mm-hmm. But now, I'm going to ask you guys this. Do you think they're going to flip it? And the Secret Invasion is actually the Kree, and the Skrulls are on the good... Because now it's obvious that the Skrulls are the good guys. We were speculating that it was just a small part of them in Captain Marvel. But this sets it up. Skrulls are good guys here.
Can the Kree shapeshift?
They can't shapeshift, but it doesn't mean they can't plant themselves. Because we saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had technology to turn their skin from blue to regular human colors.
Okay.
They could do something like that.
Yeah. And we have seen so far in the universe that all Kree has been bad.
Pretty much. Except for Marvel.
Yep.
So this would mean maybe not any of our old characters are Kree, but maybe some new characters they introduce as heroes can be.
So if Marvel can't shapeshift, how does she look human?
Their Kree aren't all blue. Just like Jude Law's character wasn't blue.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
That's why you can have a human on, but they're actually Kree. Well, they're a Kree on Earth, but they look like human.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like maybe something like that, or you could still do that maybe for whatever
the
reason.
face technology, S.H.I.E.L.D. has it.
Or that, right, because Scarlett Johansson used it. What was I going to say? Oh, well, I mean, you could still do that maybe if for whatever reason, like angry Tony Stark employee decides I'm going to be bad. Mm-hmm. You could definitely have some scrolls to be like, you know what? I don't want to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. Who says I want to do this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do some of that too. We'll see what they end up with.
Yeah.
It could be either or. Yeah, you could have some disgruntled Skrulls and still infiltrating some of the heroes. That could be a thing that comes out. Or even so, it could be still a surprise, even if they're good. And you'll be like, oh, this person was a Skrull the whole time, you know? Mm-hmm. But you got to think, if they introduce people like Spider-Woman or something like that, you could have it be either or.
Yeah. So, I that was, to me, very surprising.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And then... I don't know about y'all, but in the theater I saw it in, like only 2 people stayed for the after credit scenes.
Yeah, a lot of people left. I was like, it's a Marvel movie.
It's a Marvel movie.
Right.
We know these things.
I mean, they had to come out and say at the end of the Endgame that there wasn't going to be a second post-credit scene for people not to stay.
And we still stayed.
I didn't stay.
Just in case you were lying to me.
I didn't stay because they never came out and said that before, so I didn't stay.
I don't care. I stayed.
Yeah, I was with you. I
Give
would have
everybody that worked on that movie credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, man, that was just a huge surprise. So a couple speculations. We're probably going to end up with Sword or some, even if it's called Shield or something.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting.
Yeah. And I like with that post-credit thing. I feel like that definitely is leading to that they're preparing for the next major villain that they have not released out that we know of. But there's something going on that they're working on.
No, there's nothing going on with him. What are you talking about?
Obviously, that's like kind of the whole point of post-credit scenes. Is like just like when Thanos revealed at the end of it, he's like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So now we have, how does the Skrull act for the rest of Phase 4?
Yeah, it's obvious that they're going to be factoring into Phase 4. We're probably going to see a lot more of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the next. We could see them in the next movie. We don't know, because Black Widow is after they were on Earth already.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. We'll see what happens, but it could be interesting. This movie definitely shook things up by the end of it.
It did.
Yeah. But I really liked it. That's all I got to say about the movie.
No, I think that covered it for me.
That's all I have.
All right. So let's talk box office. Spider-Man Far From Home. 180 million estimated domestically by the end of this weekend. So that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Came out on Tuesday. I believe it's like the highest for a Tuesday opening and
it's
July 4th weekend.
The highest for a 6-day weekend.
Yeah, 6-day weekend.
Which is how often do we have 6-day weekends?
I don't know.
That doesn't happen often.
And then I feel like, is that really a thing? Or are we
Is it
just
really
making up 6 days?
Well, people just took it. July 4th happened in the middle of the week.
This year,
before.
Christmas is going to be a 6-day weekend because that's also on a Wednesday.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Oh, okay. I just feel like y'all just making up stuff now.
Yeah, whenever these holidays fall, like, in the middle of the week.
They just seem like everyone's like, I'm not going to work.
Basically, it's
well, people take the whole week off.
To work on
well,
Thursday
I mean, you said a
Friday.
6-day weekend. That's a week.
Yeah, that is a week.
Right, you might as well
weekend.
add the word weekend out of that.
Worldwide, it is expected to make 500 million by the end of today.
Wow.
That's crazy. So $500 million in 1 week. And since it's positive, I'm thinking it's probably going to make $1 billion.
So I was going to say, is billion not a thing anymore? I'm not saying that this movie don't deserve to make $1 billion because I feel like it does, but I feel like every movie makes $1 billion now.
Well, all Disney movies do apparently.
And so now I'm just feeling like, do we need to say that $2 billion is
now
the
right?
number?
It's now the benchmark.
Well, I don't know if we could do that because the only movies making $1 billion are Marvel movies, and Aladdin's almost there.
Yeah.
All right, Aladdin, stupid Aquaman made $1 billion.
Oh yeah, Aquaman.
Captain Marvel made $1 billion for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why Captain Marvel.
So that's what I'm saying.
Captain Marvel wasn't that bad.
I said I liked the movie more. I watched it a second time and I upped it to a 7.5.
What did I gave it a 7, I think.
Did you?
I might have gave it a 6.
I don't know. It wasn't a 6. It wasn't a 6.
I thought it was okay, but not great.
Okay. I thought it was good, but not great.
Okay.
So better than okay, good, but not great. I still think it's good, but not great. Spider-Man Far From Home. Actually, I'm gonna lean to it's good, not great, but I'm gonna lean more towards
the great.
The great.
You're right. Your barometer.
Yeah.
The great. Okay.
So me giving it a 9 is not that far. Understand?
No, 9 is like outstanding.
Yeah,
I don't know
9
what's
is
wrong with you.
Yeah, 9 is reserved for. I don't
Endgame.
even know.
That's what 9 is reserved for.
It's not going to say Endgame.
What did I give Endgame a 9?
I don't even think we rated Endgame. I think we just like it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should have.
Well, I never give anything a 10, so I know I did.
I mean, you probably like infinity awesomeness.
So, but yeah, a 9 is like beyond great. Like
9 is like the Lion King animated movie.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is on sale for $9.99.
Really?
Get it now so you don't have to waste your trashiness on the live action movie.
We're seeing it anyway. All right. So that's about it. So I guess we should get into the news. I don't have a lot of news. Just a couple of things. They're both about Disney movies, of course. Whatever. First, they've cast the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Halle Bailey.
Right.
Guys, Halle Bailey. Let's emphasize Bailey.
If she becomes famous, she needs to change her name.
She has been cast as the Little Mermaid. There was some confusion. People thought they said Halle Berry. I'm like, why would they do that? She's like 50 years old. That's stupid. But no, Halle Bailey is from the show Grownish, I think they said she's in.
Yes.
Oh, she must be grown
Yes.
then.
Yeah, she is.
The spinoff of Blackish.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't like it.
Yeah, but she's 19 years old, so you know she's a teen. She fits for the part of Ariel. Not bad. There's been a little bit of backlash
Of course there
Yep.
is.
because if you didn't know, Halle Bailey is black, so there's been some backlash. Apparently, there's a hashtag on Twitter, hashtag not my Ariel, and hashtag make Ariel white again.
Well, that second was definitely racist. Here's my thing. I feel like some characters, to me, it doesn't matter if you change the race.
Yeah.
I feel like Ariel is one of those characters.
Ariel is definitely one
She
of
could
those
be-
characters.
It's a mermaid. She can be whatever you want her to be.
Yeah, people, I don't know. Yeah, Ariel's one of those characters. I mentioned to you, Devin, that like I could see if this was Snow White or Belle or something, because
Right.
that would make no sense at all.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't do that. But Ariel, whatever.
Yeah.
You got people mentioning that, like, oh, the original story is from Nordic story, because Little Mermaid is a Nordic story.
Yeah.
And it's
right.
like, okay, no one cares.
Okay,
Like,
I mean, true, but isn't all original Disney? They were written by German people. So
yeah, like,
they're not
so
all
they're
German.
all that. It's,
Yeah.
You know, I don't think this is downplaying anything about the
Can
character.
we go on fact
you
to
know?
say that mermaids is not real?
Yeah, that's another thing. She doesn't have human races because she's not human. So, but people were complaining about that too. They were like, she lives in the ocean, so she doesn't get enough sun to be black. Apparently,
If
It's
that
so
was
silly.
true, fishes wouldn't have color.
it's really silly. This honestly doesn't matter as long as she's a good actress. To be honest, because they were saying they wanted Zendaya at first, I would prefer they got Zendaya. I thought she was a great
Yeah,
fit
I think we even mentioned
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the case. I know nothing about Halle Bailey, so I can't speak on her positive or negative. But we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. I mean, like we said before, like, I feel like the race of Ariel, the mermaid, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Aladdin, where you know what I mean? Like, if they replace
Yeah.
Aladdin with a white guy or something, like, or even a black guy, I'd be like, hold on, what y'all doing?
Yeah, he has to be Middle Eastern.
He has to be
because
Middle Eastern.
that is the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
So, like, some movies it matters. I feel like Superman should always be white. Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne should always be white.
yeah. Now, Superman and Batman, they don't have the same argument of it being important to the character, but
It's who the
you
character
can't really
is.
change it. You know,
Yeah.
Ariel, on the other hand, it's a mermaid. As long as you make her a mermaid, it's a mermaid.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like for some people it just doesn't matter, and I feel like for Ariel it doesn't matter.
Yeah. You know, it's not like putting a black person in Mulan or something. Like, you
Right.
can't do that. Or a Hispanic person in Mulan. Like, Mulan has to be not only Asian, she has to be Chinese.
Yes.
that. Oh, and since you mentioned
Yeah,
it, Mulan,
so-
there is a movie poster out with Mulan.
There's a trailer out for Mulan.
Yes. We haven't got that yet.
But before we get to that, some other castings for The Little Mermaid. Melissa McCarthy is Ursula.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Also, Aquafina's in it. I don't know.
As who?
I don't know.
Probably
one
her
of the
friend,
like
or maybe
fish character, Flounder or something.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Ooh, she could be Sebastian, maybe. Oh no, unless Sebastian got to be a guy.
So
Yeah, I don't know
Sebastian
if
still got to be.
She can do
Still got to be a
Sebastian.
Jamaican voice, man. Like you got to keep that, man.
No,
I don't know,
maybe
man.
not.
Yes.
Are we gonna make Sebastian Jamaican again?
Dude, you got to
Wait,
gotta get under the sea.
is no one complaining that Melissa McCartney is white? Ursula was purplish gray or whatever. I mean, we didn't get a gray person to play her.
Dude,
I don't know.
Sebastian got to be Jamaican though, man. Like you can't have under the song Under the Sea.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be a Caribbean
Yes,
song
dude,
though.
Under the sea.
It don't
That
start singing
and
Under the Sea.
kiss the girl. Like, dude, you got to, man. You got to.
I'm gonna go on record to say I do not like the Little Mermaid movie.
I don't either.
but I did like the song.
Okay,
Actually, I hate the Little Mermaid movie.
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like,
Yeah,
but
I do whatever you want
I
with
do-
it because
I
I'm not
do-
singing it.
Oh, maybe that's why we don't care.
I do
Oh,
like the
maybe.
Little Mermaid songs, though. I like the songs from Little Mermaid.
What songs?
What? You named 2 songs that you like. There's like 20 in the movie.
And I
Under
like
the Sea is the
every single
only
one
song
of
I
them.
like.
Oh,
I only
okay.
like Under the Sea. That's it. That's it. Speaking of songs, let's move on to Mulan. They had a trailer. First, I'm gonna get to that. It's not a good transition, but we are talking about songs in Mulan.
Just-
But Mulan, the trailer, I thought it was boring looking. It looks boring.
it definitely didn't. Yeah, it didn't do much. They should have focused more on the action part. It was a lot of talking.
Yeah, it was something about her being like in an arranged marriage or something. I'm like, what? I don't care. You know.
I'm going to go on record and say I
but-
have never seen Mulan.
What?
Well, yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
You had to have
No,
seen
I haven't.
Mulan.
Never watched it.
I find it hard to
Oh
believe.
my god, that's like a Disney movie that you have to watch.
Yes.
It's Aladdin, Lion King, Mulan. It's in there. You have to like. You can't. No, man. What?
Yeah, I there's no way you've.
I have never seen it. I was an adult when
Yeah,
Mulan
there-
came out, guys.
You were.
You were not an adult.
It came out in the
I'm about to-
90s.
I'm about to look it
You
up
were
right
an
now.
adult when
Oh,
Mulan came out.
Goodness.
That's a shame. That is just a shame. Anyway, so the trailer. Nothing really interesting happened in the trailer.
Right. It came out in '98. You were
Okay,
not
I
an
wasn't.
adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still didn't watch it.
You weren't even in high school.
No, I wasn't in high school. Sheesh.
So yes, continue because he's nonsense.
Okay. So Mulan. There's no Mushu.
See, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, watching the trailer, I'm like, oh, they didn't show the dragon. And so now you tell me there's no dragon.
There's no dragon.
Mushu made the movie.
But why
Okay,
is
I
the
won't
dragon
say
in the poster,
Mushu
though?
made the movie. What are you talking about?
Dragon in the poster.
It said it's being replaced with a phoenix or something.
What? Is that Chinese?
Is a phoenix Chinese? I don't know.
I didn't think
Dude,
it was.
I'm just going to...
well, I
I'm
mean,
screenshotting it
they
and
were
I'm
not.
sending it to all. The dragon is in the poster.
I could have just looked up the
or,
poster.
I mean, I know dragon has a lot to do with Chinese culture, so it's not surprising that there is a dragon in the poster.
But yeah, so apparently there's no Mushu in this. I'm not happy about that.
That's disappointing.
That is disappointing because he was funny. So I'm saying, so does that mean there's no cricket either?
You got. I'm guessing there's no silliness.
Yeah.
Ooh,
How are you not gonna have silliness in this movie?
yeah.
I'm gonna need some silly. Aladdin has silliness in it, like.
Maybe we just
I don't
don't know
understand.
that yet.
But anyway, so we were talking about songs. Apparently, they're not singing any of the songs in the movie. It'll just be instrumentals.
What?
What? No. You gotta have I make a man out of you.
Yeah, that's all I want to hear.
Right.
I will go see that movie. I will pay the $10 or whatever it is to see Mulan so I can hear "Make a Man Out of You."
Yeah.
Like, what?
Oh man.
Oh, my goodness.
That is missed opportunity. Like, come on.
So the songs aren't in it. Apparently, the Huns are not the villains in this movie.
So what is this movie about then?
Here's the thing. So while we're all upset about this, of course, apparently it's sticking closer to the source material of the Mulan story, which obviously I'm going to say is so that it relates to Chinese audience. So in a way, I can't be mad about that, but in a way, I'm still mad about that.
Right. Like, I get it. China is your second biggest market.
And it is their story, really.
But it's not Mulan. You could have just named it whatever.
Yeah. But when you put out Disney's Mulan...
There's no singing. There's no Huns.
And there's no Ming Na Wei.
Oh, okay. Get over that.
No.
Karen, she's like 50 years old.
It doesn't matter. You could have put her in a movie.
As who?
The mother, Mulan's mother,
The
or
mother
whatever.
is that one lady who's in everything.
Well, why can you get Ming Na Wei for that?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Maybe she didn't want to.
Maybe she didn't want to. I don't know. Look, she played Chun-Li. I think you'll be fine with this. You can't say no to any roles anymore. Anyhow. So, yeah, I get that, Chinese audience and it's their story. But when you put Disney's Mulan, I'm not thinking of the original Mulan story. I'm thinking of the cartoon movie you put out.
Yeah, so that's disappointing. I was like excited, but now not so much.
It's kind of upsetting.
Yeah, so I don't know about this now.
Yeah, but it's coming out next March. Oh, there is a dragon in a poster. Mm-hmm. So maybe we're wrong. If all of this is wrong, I'll be happy. Just even if there's only one song in this movie, you already know what song I'm talking about. I'll be happy.
Okay.
Come on, that was the greatest montage ever in a Disney movie.
It was great. Yeah, I really like the song. The montage of it was perfect. So I feel like you have to have that song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit upsetting. But we'll see. As more things come out about Mulan, we'll see. So far, this is hashtag not my Mulan.
Yep. I agree with you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Hashtag not my Lion King. Hashtag not my Mulan.
Yeah.
Not my Aladdin either.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
Although I like that movie. So.
Please stop saying
that. But okay. Well, that's about all I got. So, anybody else have news? No.
No.
Yeah, it was a bit short on the news this week. Everything was about Spider-Man. So.
Yeah. Well, since it was a 6-day weekend.
Oh, that's true. Comic-Con is coming up. So.
Cool. You going?
No.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to San Diego Comic-Con.
Cute.
Just. Yeah, I won't be there, but we'll of course keep up with the news that comes out of it.
When is Comic-Con?
In a couple
How you
weeks.
going to mention and not know when it is?
It's this month.
Your news guy will give you that.
I know you're not talking about yourself.
It is July
You are
18th
not our news
through
guy.
July 21st.
Okay, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's right. So.
Okay.
I am your news guy.
About some. Okay. Anyway, Derek, since you're the news guy, what you doing?
Okay. I wasn't really doing anything, but I did get.
Of course not.
Whatever. I did get something about rankings of everybody who has played Batman or Bruce Wayne, either in cartoon series, movie series, or TV show. So I'm not going to go through all 10 of the rankings. I'm only going to do the top 5.
Number 1, Adam West.
No.
All right. At number 5 was the kid that played Bruce Wayne from Gotham.
Oh,
God,
you can stop.
no. This list is bad. Number 1 is Adam West.
Number 1 is not Adam West.
Yes, it is.
It's Kevin
Number
Conroy.
4 is Kevin Conroy.
Whoa.
Whoa. Who'd you put above Kevin Conroy?
Adam West is number 3.
Okay, no, sorry.
Christian Bale is
fine.
number 2.
No.
Oh, God.
And Michael Keaton was number 1.
No.
Okay.
Who was drunk and high when they made this list?
All right. Number one, Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
Number two, Adam West.
Yes.
Number three,
I would say Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. I'm gonna say that Michael Keaton.
at number
Number what?
And number
I like
one.
Michael Keaton at number one.
Dude, Kevin
I
Conroy.
got Kevin Conroy at number two. I got him at number two.
First of all right. So you mentioned how it should have ended last week. So they had one about Into the Spider-Verse. I watched it.
Oh yeah, and it had all the
And they did the Batman
Yes.
verse. And when he explained the Batman, do you know the Kevin Conroy's Batman? He said, your universe is the universe everyone wants. Yeah, because that's the Batman that everybody wants, is
Yes.
the animated series.
Yes.
So Kevin Conroy, number one.
Yeah. I feel like we need to do an episode on this.
Yeah.
Because whoever put this list together, you're wrong.
Just, how's Christian
Yes.
Bale number two?
Just
Why is the
nonsense.
kid from Gotham even on the list?
First of all, he wasn't even good at it. He's 5'6". Just no. He tried so hard to look angry.
all he did was have
He just had teen angst to face. All that teen
his
angst.
eyebrows was curled up. That was
Right. He always looking like people are just, you know how like in movies they make babies cry and they like pinch them? That's just what his face looked like the entire time. And they just went like, you're not angry enough and just stick pins in him or something.
That list is horrible.
oh
No.
man. I thought y'all would get it kicked
Oh, this
out
is
of this
horrible.
list. I was like, I'm definitely
No.
sharing.
Oh, no,
I'm
no.
definitely.
That's going to be on my list of things we need to talk about.
Yes, I was like, I definitely have to share this with you guys. Yeah, so it was that, and I watched all three Terminators this week: Terminator 1, 2, and 3. And
Ugh.
How'd you manage that? Are they streaming?
no, it was on
Are
TV.
they streaming?
They were
I have
doing
TV.
a
Okay.
Terminator marathon, and
Wow.
I mean, we already said this on past up, but Terminator 2, then Terminator 1. Those are the best ones.
Duh.
Duh, Judgment Day was
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's disputing that. That's why this next movie is a sequel to Terminator 2.
Right.
Yeah, because you can
we
forget
gonna
those other
forget 3,
ones.
4, and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh man,
Niceness.
my favorite with Terminator 1 is my dude basically going down the phone book with Sarah Connor and just killing everyone that's named Sarah Connor.
That's your favorite part.
favorite part.
Your favorite part is these innocent women named Sarah Connor being gunned down.
Dude, it's just like,
So horrible.
Are you Sarah Connor? Well, yes. It just unloads her.
We did used to say that as kids all the time.
It's
Are you
just-
Sarah Connor?
Are you Sarah Connor?
What-
And like she was.
Why did
just
we
so
watch this
happy
movie
when
as
it just-
kids?
Well, yes. It was like, life over.
There
It's
are so many movies we saw as kids that we probably shouldn't have.
This was an inappropriate movie for us to see as a child.
Yes, it
very
was.
inappropriate.
I was fine. It didn't bother me.
It was fine, but no.
But yeah, those are the things
It
I
didn't
did
make
this
me go look for Sarah Connors and shoot them. Devin, what you doing?
So, I regret that I'm going to say this out loud. So, Hulu said, hey, watch this show. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. But then I thought, since I'm doing what you're doing, maybe I can find out why people like this show so much.
Uh-huh.
I watched Veronica Mars.
Oh.
I know. First of all, I only got through 1 and the third episode, probably 1 and a quarter. And I don't know why people like this nonsense so much.
My wife loves Veronica.
I
lot
like
of
it's
people
I'm like
do.
it has this cult following. Hulu's about to release another season of
Yeah.
it.
Really?
Yes. So it intrigued me because I'm like, oh, maybe this gives me something to talk about. I don't know why people like this show.
And I'm going to say nothing against Kirsten Bell. Like, she's fine, but
Is it Kristen Bell or Kristen Dunst?
no, it's Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Dunst is Mary Jane.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing against her. She's a fine actress, but Man, I can't get with Veronica Mars though.
Like, I can't. It's like, is this a CW show? It seems like a CW
Is it?
show.
No.
It was
Is it
on
not?
UPN though. It was
Yeah.
on you.
Well, that makes it CW
That's a CW show.
because CW is UPN and Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Yes. So, like, I don't get it. So, it's like, you know, she's a private investigator, and I think it starts off with, like, her friend died, and people don't like her, and her father was investigating her friend's father for the murder, but someone confessed, blah, 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 blah. And so there's a lot of voiceover, like, kind of like those,
Noir.
yes, like the private investigator, and he's, like, telling the story. But I just feel like she's just not telling it well, or whatever. I don't get it. Like, I, honest to God, don't get it. I don't know if I should finish the other 3/4 of episode 2. But, like, I don't understand, and it is a CW show. It's just why?
Yeah, no, I'm not down for that. Sorry, not a fan. I'm sorry if people are a fan of Veronica Mars,
Yeah.
but that's
When
not
it
me.
came out,
I tried
it
to.
never to me.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it has such a following. I mean, there's petitions when it got canceled, and they're like, oh, we need a movie, and they made a movie out of it.
Yeah, I saw the movie.
So I was thinking it's probably
Ugh.
like one of those things that you didn't like, but you discover it was actually good. This is not one of those.
All right, well, that's fun. I have been playing Kingdom Hearts lately because I think we mentioned before, I got like all the games and I'm playing through all of them. This is like the longest of anyone playing a series of games because I beat the first one a few weeks ago and I'm on the game after that. Not the second one. There's 2 games in between the first and the second one apparently.
Okay.
Just stupid. But yeah, anyway, so I'm on Chain of Memories. Can I say the mechanic in this game is the stupidest mechanic ever. It's stupid. It's like you fight with cards or whatever. I'm not going to get down to it, but it's really dumb.
But wasn't that like a Game Boy game?
It
or
was a
something?
Game Boy game.
Well, then that's why.
Yeah, I know. It probably worked better on the Game Boy, but playing in full 3D, running around enemies trying to look, it's
Just like slapping them with playing cards or something.
no, it's not exactly how it works, but it's really annoying. But I'm determined to play each game completely, so I still haven't gotten to Kingdom Hearts 3 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's similar to me trying to get through all the Uncharted's.
Oh yeah,
What no game I'm on?
You still on one?
one
Oh yeah,
of
I'm
course.
still on one.
But at least
Yes.
I've beat 2 games already.
I'm on Uncharted 4.
I
by
thought
the
about
way.
playing it this weekend.
I'm on
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I'm getting through them.
Oh, I got Tomb Raider as well, the first one
know.
that came out for PS4.
I know.
Oh, okay.
We played it.
You
together.
stalking people's PlayStation accounts again?
No,
She played the game.
I played the game.
But yeah, so that's about it. I think so. Thank you guys for listening, and let us know what you thought about Spider-Man as well. Did you like the movie? Did you think it was good? What about the twist? So let us know. You can reach us at our email, which is 3drivals@gmail.com. You can reach us on Facebook, facebook.com/3drivals, and Twitter, which is 3_rivals. Or you can just search 3D Rivals on Twitter and you'll find us. Other than that, again, thank you for watching and peace out.
Peace out.